close to my guy. Ooh, a love like ours was written up in the stars. Yeah, 'cause I'm his Venus and he knows he's my Mars. Yeah, feeling like I just won the lotto. You drown away all my sorrow. Baby, you're so sweet like Moscato. Knock me off my feet. I just wanna feel it, gotta let it breathe. I just wanna feel it, gotta let it breathe. Yeah, yeah, feeling like I just won the lotto. You drown away all my sorrows. Baby, you're so sweet like Moscato. So sweet, knock me off my feet. I just wanna feel it, gotta let it breathe. I just wanna feel it, gotta let it breathe. Yeah, gotta let it breathe.
Hello, and welcome to Hump Day, Jump Day, Wednesday. I am your host for the day, no co host today. Bree is out, so you're stuck with me, Trevor. Apologies for the delay there. Uh, as always, when the boss is away, Trevor likes to play with new camera angles. So today is Creator Lab Launch Wednesday. I've been talking about a lot of things a little differently lately. A lot about camera angles and why I choose to do what I do with cameras. And I don't think a lot of people have thought about it. So I thought we would just have some fun with it. That being said, if you want to jump on with me on the live, let me know. Drop a comment. Tell me where to send it to you. I will send you a link. Also, I should have a camera on me. The Logitech is not working yet. We know it will come up at some point. But until then, we might be stuck with the garden view, which kind of sucks. If I'm being honest. If I'm being frank. Should always be frank. Speaking of Frank and the show F is for Family. If you've never seen F is for Family, totally should watch it. It's a Bill Burr comedy, hilarious. I know Snow is in the comments today. Hey, Snow. Snow was on yesterday, and it was awesome. We had a really cool tarot card reading, and I guess I don't know if that's like what it's called or a session or what it is, but it was really cool. And maybe Snow, you can correct me on how that terminology breaks down. Want to make sure I get it right. But we had a lot of fun. Bree, of course, is very nervous about what's going down in her world, but excuse me. And she was nice enough to share that with us yesterday. And so I want to pass along just that things are going good so far as I know. Everything is going as planned. When I talked to her this morning, she was feeling good and confident. And it was like it's a low key day, but obviously she's thinking a lot about it. So just sending good vibes over to Bree because we know she's going to be down for a little bit while she works through her heart things. So I feel like anything that the doctors can help with, of course, like knowing those things ahead of time before surgery is probably going to help them do a better job. So here's to hoping they find whatever the heck that they're looking for while they do their testing type of stuff. So sounding good vibes that way. Snow says, it's all good. Sounds good to me. Oh, yeah. Sessions, facilitations, lots of words. So I need to figure out how to get this camera on me. I would love to know out of the gate, I'm going to give you a second to think about this while I take a couple of nice deep breaths because I ran up the stairs. I really need a drink of coffee, water, and I want to know what y'all think. Which image is nicer to look at? Which would you prefer to look at if you had to look at one for an hour on mute? Which would you prefer? Drop your answer in the comment. Share this link wherever you are. If you're watching on Facebook, please share the link. If you're on YouTube, share the link to your Facebook or to your platform or your TikTok. We really appreciate getting more people in the comments. We have a lot of fun with it, especially when there's somebody solo up here, selfishly. So if you are watching today, first of all, thank you. Second of all, share the links. See who can jump into the comments today. And again, if you would like to jump into the actual live session here on the main stage with me, as we call it, just drop a comment and I will send it out to you. Which picture is better? I'm going to give you, I think, see if we can get this view. Never does it just how I want it to with this one. See if we can get it. No. Well, you'll have to pick between those two. Which view is better? How does it sound? Snow says he can jump in live. Do you want the? That'd be sweet. No pressure. If you don't want to, it's all good. But if you do want to jump in, it's a good day to do it. So let me know what you think about the lounge music playing in the background. No, our friend of the show, friend of the company, Joe at Blind Knowledge. Shout out to him. I'll get his link up here in a sec. But Joe sometimes does this in the background. It throws me off, but sometimes throwing people off is good, I think, in an audio only format. So if you were going to hear it only, in the same way I'm asking you about the visual in front of you, like which is more interesting, I guess, auditorily, if it was just the audio you had and no video, more interesting silent, more interesting with music. I feel like we kind of know the answer to that, but I think it's fun to ponder it for a second. So which visual do you like? Do you like the music in the background, etc.? Just throw your thoughts on this in the comments if you would, please. It's really fun to run experiments and breeze away, so I will play. And today we're going to run some experiments. I love to run experiments on Wednesdays. It's Creator Lab Day, so I get excited to try new things and launch new things. And this is a launch because I've been working on this setup for a while. You can see that looks pretty good right now, I think. I'm going to get Snow into the feed. And if you want to get into the feed, onto the main stage, again, just drop a comment. I'm going to hop over to probably Twitter. Snow, let us know where I should be sending the message. Oh, it's so small, yeah. Snow, let me know where you want me to send you the link, and I will get it over there. I don't know your Twitter handle. I don't know if we're connected in other places. I have not done a ton of social media lately, so a little out of the loop that way. Insta. You know how I know you're a millennial without knowing you're a millennial? Because you called it Insta. I'm just playing. It's your main source of social. I would guess probably that's your preference then in terms of socials. And I would say prior to having a business, it was mine as well. Snow. Let's just see how easy it is here. Find snow leopard. I guess I could share my screen with you. That would probably make this even more interesting because really what I'm trying to do always is push my own self to create more interesting content. I can't promise it's going to be better content. Like that's going to be a matter of opinion, of course. But I do want to be trying different things all the time. So this is going to get weird because now I got to find snow leopard. without looking back. I'm gonna have to look back. Uh oh. We're gonna have to hide you for a second because I need to get back over here and find out what we are on Insta. You gotta tell me your handle, buddy. I don't know everybody's handle offhand. I mean, I know some people's, but very, very few. I know my wife's, sort of, but I don't remember people by their handles unless it's uh, something I think of all the time. Uh, so I'm new to it. Ooh, I got a new follower, Elise Walker, on the Instagrams. So I'm waiting to hear from Snow what your Instagram name is, and then I'll get you the link. In the meantime, let's check out Instagram, I guess. I don't know if there's anything illegal. Y'all have to tell me if Gordon Firemark, if you're watching, he's kind of our resident accidental lawyer. I say accidental not because it was accidental for us. We really thought it would be cool to work with Gordon. I just don't think he knew that we wanted to work with him that much. But shout out to Gordon Firemark. I have to get his link up later in the show as well. But you'll have to let me know, Gordon, if this is like a chill thing to do. I don't know. This person friended me or followed me. So I feel like by doing that, sort of open yourself up to all the things. And I don't know, maybe in the agreements online that we sign, just to deep dive this for like 3 seconds, maybe in the privacy agreement somewhere or the data sharing agreement, whatever the agreements that we don't read and sign off on look like. Probably Lex would know and a few other people. That's probably it. We are still don't have Snow Leopard's Instagram name. Crush me, Smalls. Crush me. Crush. All right, let's see. Nope. Oh, there we go. I found you in here. I just had to look in the messages. That would have been so much faster. All right, so I'm gonna get Snow Leopard's. Apologies for my all overness, y'all. This is why in the messages ahead of time, like truly, if anybody wants to be a stagehand or knows somebody that wants to be in this industry and would be down to help out a little bit, and just be a part of the show. I mean, y'all know how we do business, so I wouldn't ask you to do that unless we were going to treat everybody the same way that we treat you, hopefully. And hopefully that's a good thing, but we're definitely looking for some help on the show, especially going into Bree's absence, and being confident as a team that she will not feel pressure to come back too soon, because we want her as her friends to not feel that pressure. So I'll be looking for rotating co-hosts is kind of how I'm thinking it. I was thinking of doing it kind of like they have been doing on a Comedy Central, because that seems really fun. For me, it would be to have a rotating co-host, like a different one every week. So maybe a whole week stint. I don't know how it would work out. So, but I do think it would be cool to try something like that. It would give me an excuse to talk to more people, and I have a lot of people to talk to, so maybe it all just sort of weaves into each other. But we're gonna try and make the most of it, because I think the best thing that I can do, just thinking out loud with y'all, while Bree is just like, I just don't want her to feel pressure. I feel like it's hard enough to exist in a world. So I just want her to be able to walk away and feel good. Like, we are gonna take care of this. We're going to do good. We're going to make some dollars while you're gone. Things will be in shape. Like the kind of confidence you want to give your friends. So I'm just really looking forward to doing that with y'all. So let me know, if you want to jump in, what thoughts you have on what we could do with the format. I mean, this is an opportunity for our company and for the show that we can completely flip formats. We can have Snow Leopard in every day or every other day or once a week. We can shuffle it up and only have a person in once a month. Like, I don't know. As a viewer, Amy, what do you think? Scoob, Snow, I'll ask Snow on the spot. If you're ready, give me the thumbs up, boss. Thumbs up. Oh yeah, you guys were just stuck on this person's. Hopefully it's a scam, because we would know now. Snow, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you now.
Okay, good.
Let me get the Instagram. I'm off here.
There it is. Nice.
What's going on?
That's a little bit better. Good. How are you?
Good.
Thanks
Still
for
having,
letting me jump in.
yeah, no doubt. Thanks for stopping by. I'm just having a few camera issues over here still, per
That's
normal, I
okay.
guess. What are you doing in your world? What's good today?
Well, I just, pardon my messy hair there. I just jumped over to TikTok a little bit ago, and I found out that I get to go live. And so I have a cool announcement that I want to make on your show. Nobody else knows this. This is brand new information. Out
Okay.
the
Should I stop the
box.
music?
Sure, whatever you want to do. I don't know
Yeah.
how well people can hear, but
Yeah, let me turn the music off so we can. So I turned it on. Now I have to figure
I
out.
like
how to
background
turn it.
music personally.
Oh, okay. Well, let's find an appropriate one. I'll let you pick from a couple. That way, for your big, I feel like if you know what I'm saying. You yesterday, I feel like you crushed how it all went down. So
That was a lot of fun.
I thought so too. It really kind of inspired me to work harder at good audio and good video, like as best I can in both, and try to balance that better. Because sometimes I over lean into one and not the other, and I think it made me think, because I sort of just naturally was anxious. It was not on purpose. It just sort of worked out that way. But then partway through, I'm like, oh wow, I hear you struggling through it, and by the end, you were clicking with it, and I thought you did great. And then I thought, well, that's going to really change your ability to do really good audio content too. So, man, I thought it was a fun day for me just to be a part of that with you and hear you get to clicking.
It was so much fun to work with you guys both, and to be able to do your readings. It's such a blast to do readings for me that I love doing it for free.
Yeah. Well, what is like the transfer? Is there a transferable skill in terms of like a strictly, if you were going to look at it strictly from a business standpoint, while I try to find some music
Sure.
and figure this music out, let me know if you would like and maybe it's correlated, so I should shut up, but what is the business that's built around the tarot card, but I guess that industry more broadly, because I feel like it, to me, it seems like more of a spiritual journey than a specific thing with you, but I may be misinterpreting that.
I think you're right on point. One of the things is that, yes, there is a financial aspect to it. So this isn't something that I've talked about on the podcast because I'm not confident enough to teach people how to make money at it. Because myself, when I was growing up in the church, I always felt like, it's really important to offer Christian love without a cost. And I hated that in the church so much. As a pagan and a Wiccan, I would say that, yeah, there's definitely a financial aspect, and it's very appropriate to ask for financial gain, because I'm spending a lot of energy to be able to listen to what Spirit is saying, to listen to what the person that I'm reading for is going through. So there's a lot of energy exchange. A long time ago when I started, I had read that you always want to charge what the cost of the energy is equivalent. So it may sound a little bit high on some people's plates, depending on how their financial situation is, but like $25 is at $25 an hour. It can be expensive, but it's not. So because that energy exchange is really intense. So yeah, even though I'm sitting here, it seems easy. It's not. Hey, Topaz, what's up? How are you doing?
What's up, Topaz? I'm still over here trying to get my other camera working, so I'm just crawling around on the floor. You can't tell that, but
You're good.
Yeah, I think it's kind of well, I have some thoughts about it just in general, what you said, but it is an interesting take to hear it broken down, like with the exchange, because that's really, I feel like what you described as human relations, like as a general thought, like it takes so much energy to do it, and that's sometimes commensurate with how much we're paid, sometimes not. Unfortunately,
Right.
the contribution to society is sometimes not as doesn't always make a ton of sense to me, I guess, in short, because
Right.
like like a medical person through COVID, like if you were to measure that in contribution, they should probably all just get the biggest houses in every town, right?
Right. Right.
like
In a
like
lot of those situations, absolutely.
it's like so
Hmm.
it's kind of wild, when to hear you break it down like that, because I feel like that's one thing that we all, in different and varying degrees, understand better now in
Yeah.
the past 3-4 years, is just the really the value of the loss of energy, because we all had so much loss along the way, in different ways, like lots of different ways, because it changed us all so damn much. like
Yeah. Yeah,
that
absolutely.
thing changed us. You could
Yeah.
argue if it was real or not, but the effect was 100% real.
Yeah,
um
there's
Crazy.
the amount of loss that we went through. There's a video, a guy on YouTube that I really like. His name is World Astrology Report, and he was talking about how we just entered into a cycle of air for the next 200 years, and the start of it was COVID. So when you
Oh yeah,
see
you were saying.
that, yeah, exactly. So like if you think about air, right? So that's your speech, that's your thoughts, and that's your lungs. So the COVID having been an air quality itself, because it's a cold, really relates to that transmission of that energy. So we just came from Earth energy, which was all about prosperity and stability. So we were all talking about living at home and buying homes and stuff like that, and stability in the workplace and stuff like that. Now we're moving into, um, where we're all over the place because air. So you, Gemini, will understand that better than most people, actually.
I have a follow-up, if you don't mind. Is it cool if I ask a
Sure.
follow-up?
Yeah.
How do you balance the, I guess, do you think about the potential impact of like what you and I do? What you and I do is different than each other, but like I wonder, because I've been fortunate to be in the field for, I don't know, like 10 years since I started learning
Oh,
behavioral
wow.
psychology. So like just the basics, but different steps in my career, it was about behavioral psychology. So it was signs and questions and clarifying. It was like a whole series of things, but there was also an ethical component. And I just wonder, like, what what do you, as an industry, or what are your, like, the people who mentored you? While I get this damn camera fixed, what are their takes on that? Because I feel like that's one of the most important things to like long term success, is also knowing. I feel like you're pretty good at that. So like knowing where your boundaries are. But I was wondering, as a new practitioner, new learner of the field, how you sort of feel towards that ethical component.
Yeah. So you got you got a lot going on in that question. There's a lot to unpack there. I think that I mean, like, if you're talking like astrology wise, there's a lot to go through with that. But honestly, like when it comes to what we're doing in our field, there's a sense that it's really one of the best things that we could ever hope for. So like being in the if you were to compare that to astrology, not that everything has to be magical, but if you were to compare that to astrology, you're talking about psychology, you're talking about podcasting. Those two things are very air quality. So we're actually in the right field for work at this time in our lives, and that's why actually podcasting will go up in numbers. It's only to go up. So what you're doing, there you are. Hi. Get to see you with that orange hat. I love it. And the tropical sunglasses.
Oh, I mean, I've been up for a while, so I like I go through these wild phases of where I talk a lot on like on a live show a couple times on Wednesday, and then I go through a nice period of not talking to anyone and not doing anything for a while. So then when I come out of it, I'm like a bear, uh, coming out of hibernation, trying to get all my technology to work.
Right.
Yeah, so I understand, I guess, as a general rule that it's a good time. I don't disagree with you at all. I guess the question is, how do you look at, or how do you think of that ethical component, or do you think of it, or like are there any underlying rules or boundaries that you feel like are in your purview? Like where do you end your reading in terms of like, maybe this is farther than I should be going? Is there
Yeah.
ever a moment like that?
Yeah, there's a lot of moments like that. One of the things that I have to constantly do is redefine my terms. So when I was a Christian, it was pretty easy to define ethical. You know, it was like, okay, this is what we're supposed to do. You know, everything makes sense. When I went over to paganism, it's not that they actually do have boundaries, but they're a lot more loose, and they are intentionally. What they're supposed to do is to help people make good decisions, but not because somebody tells them to. And so when you talk about that from like our perspective of what we're doing right now, I constantly am reflecting back on myself and saying, okay, am I doing this for I always have that question inside myself of, am I doing it for the right reasons, for the benefit of others, and stuff like that. So uh, actually my problem is the opposite of that, where my ethical boundaries are not even towards myself. So like I'll give away free readings all day long, but then so it's benefiting somebody else, but then it's not benefiting me. And so then, and I'm okay with that to a point, but then I still have to eat. And so the ethical boundaries that I struggle with actually have more to do with me internally than they do with other people. So does that make sense?
Kinda.
And that doesn't
Kinda.
answer your question, does it?
No.
And I'm not sure
No,
I have an answer.
I guess I would want to know, like, so can I give you an example of a time where
Sure.
I was told I went too far with my profession? Like, I was explaining how a session went to one of my peers, and they sort of pushed me back a little bit on it. And it was good. It was really tough to hear, but it was like real helpful. Um, his his name was Sean. Are you good over there, by the way, Snow?
Yeah,
I
I'm
think we
good.
lost.
I'm just getting
Okay.
more coffee.
Oh yeah, no, take your time.
I'm still listening.
You're good. So I had told him about this individual who was one of the only individuals who really disagreed with a debrief that we did. And the process of a debrief, very quickly, was that you did a whole bunch of assessments that were like behavioral assessments. They asked you a whole series of questions about how you would think you would react to things in certain scenarios, or scenarios, depending on how you pronounce things. And based on your responses, it would kind of collate them into what, for lack of a better term, would be called stereotypes or labels or categories. There's a lot of harsh names for them, but ultimately they're really no different than like Gemini or Taurus, et cetera, because they're all a label that like provides a boundary for us to understand ourselves. That's how I always looked at it. Is these conversations provide us nice boundaries to understand ourselves, but are not the whole story necessarily.
Right.
Because I guess I personally think that to understand the whole story, or claiming to, would be disillusionment if it's somebody else's circumstances, because you couldn't possibly
Perfect.
understand it. But this person I was talking to, I was going through his debrief, and he got the same debrief that I had done probably 300 times at that point. Like, I was very experienced at what I did. It was like a 4-hour battery of assessments, and it was, I think, 15 page. No, that one was 12 pages long, and I had to go through the whole thing. And I think those were like 20 or 25-minute turnarounds, person after person after person after person
Wow.
after person. So imagine doing like a tarot reading with
Yeah.
data ahead of time to work with, and you're just busting out like time after time. And so I got really good at it. I was very good at what I did. Um,
Right.
and it was really fun because people thought you were magic, but it was like it was their responses, so it was like easy.
Right.
I was technically good because I had done my homework and I had great mentors, and I understood it a little bit going into it, so I was very fortunate. But I had this one guy, and it will always stick out. He was a little bit younger than me at the time, and he really disagreed with almost everything in the assessment readout. I mean, like
Okay.
vehemently disagreed with things.
Hmm.
Um, and that was the first. I had people that would argue like the validity of a question or a response or a specific thing, but it was always like a flavor of they were just trying to really like dig into it and understand it. You know, like I'm sure you get that too. Like somebody that just really wants to dig in, so they ask really bitey questions sometimes.
Right.
Um, and he was not like having questions. He was just saying no. And I'm like, dude, okay. I'm like, I'm
Hmm.
paid to give you this thing, so I'm just gonna blast through it. And it was really awkward the whole time. And I at the end I was like, you know, what they tell this is what they tell me. This is not necessarily my take, but what they tell me because they're experts is that um sometimes when somebody would have a situation like this where everything seems like it's the opposite or extremely inaccurate, is it might just be because there's a lot of turbulence going on in someone's world. And so, because of that turbulence, it truly is that you're kind of a different person day to day, or week to week, or month to month, or however you want to look at it, even year to year, is that you just are an evolving personality much faster than the people around you. Um, so I explained this to him, and I was like, you know, I don't know if you probably would help to get some help. Like, and I said something about getting professional help, and I told that to and I cut myself off to say it because he explained to me why that was too far. And like from an ethical standpoint, I did everything right except that, you know, like in terms of explaining our role in it, but not to offer that. It'd be one thing if the client asked for it and this and that. But it was like a really impactful moment and for my younger self because I was embarrassed, you know, like I was embarrassed that I screwed up. I felt bad because I felt like I
Hmm.
might have hurt the person. And obviously, if that was a true good read, then you know, it might have hurt even more. So it sticks out to me um, because the world I learned from was a very developed and very ground. Like there's a lot of literature and a lot of formal studies and a lot of things like that, which doesn't make it more or less legit. It just, I think, gives me more questions to ask sometimes. So that's where I come up with like the ethical question because um, I think regardless of how you look at things, like ethics is so critical because it's the right versus wrong. But even if we
Right.
just pull it out of your industry for a second, what is your I guess how do you look at ethics as just like as a human? If we again just take out the terror because
Right.
you're a whole human and have been for a long time. This is a new
Right.
territory for you,
It
respectfully, you
is.
know. So it's a evolving thing. That's why it's so fun to talk to you about it because it's like you understand a little bit more than me and you're teaching me along the way and what I'm hoping I can do with you is build that into like a really powerful skill set because I think what you have to read people on the fly is really, really a gift. And it's a power tool in business. So
Yeah.
I think that there's some really cool traits that come along with it. So I really appreciate you exploring it a little bit with me.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
I think it's fun. Um, so yeah,
Well,
like I
so
guess
I
if you were just going to be in a vacuum and say like ethics is to me like in a statement, what would you say? It's a hard question that I really didn't ask often until like probably 6 months ago.
I think that that's I mean, ethics just by itself. I mean, you know, like I'm doing schooling in philosophy and all that stuff. But when it comes down to it, you know, when I was a Christian, I asked, what is sin? And I tried to define that for myself. You know, what is sin? What is the definition of it itself? How do you accomplish it or how do you not accomplish it?
I'm gonna pull you back for a second, Snow.
Yeah.
Just a statement. I don't need the whole dialogue this time. I get the
Okay.
dialogue. It's just a
Okay. I see
very
what you're saying.
it's not so black and white that it's yes and no, but I want to get to the heart of it. Like if we were to meet you in a
Okay.
dark alley, what would you tell us? You know, would you say like if you're in a dark alley, are you gonna reach out to help? Are you going to say something? Are you going to pass by to avoid trouble? Like, I think all of those different kind of things, or I guess what I think of when ethics are the things we hope we would do in a tough situation, maybe. So that's why I ask it, because I think it's important to know that if somebody's considering taking advice from you. So if you can define some of those lines for them going into it, I think it would probably open you up to a new crowd, because you can make them feel more comfortable by defining your own boundaries with it. Because then it, like, you immediately make yourselves equal, rather than I'm here to lecture you, which I don't think is how it's probably looked at as a practice. But it can easily become that, because people will give you that power really quickly. Like, people, when you can predict people's behavior because you understand it for whatever reasons, or they think you understand it, it's like probably the most powerful thing you could know how to do in life. Like, it's more powerful than AI. It's more powerful than coding. Understanding human behavior is like the ultimate hack.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why it's so fascinating. So ethics to me is checking myself and having checks and balances. I can't put it any more simple than that. Is like, because I don't understand it deeply enough. So I try to think about it, and I try to bring it up, and I try to make awkward discussions like this sometimes, just
No, it's
to
good.
always
I love it.
just be making myself kind of vulnerable, because if somebody's going to tell me I'm wrong, like, I want it to be early so I can learn and do better in case things work. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
like for you, like, I
And
want you to be
when it,
strong. So if somebody says, what are your ethics at your core, Snow? Like, if you were to pull all of your, I guess, boundaries that you understand in life together, and there's just a few left, right? Because if you strip it all away, there really is only a few boundaries that most people have, I think.
right.
If you really get deep enough. So I'm just curious, like, without saying exactly what they are, do you, and how do you want to, I guess, as you move your career forward, think about that? Because I think it'll make you more successful, I guess, to really ponder that deeply often. And it's fun. It's so
I
uncomfortable.
will. No, you're good. I will ponder that more, because I think that's you bring up a really good point, and it's good to reflect on that. But to answer your question simply, it's don't harm anybody. Don't be selfish,
There you go.
including myself. Don't be selfish to myself.
I love
So,
it.
yeah.
I'm going to turn my thing off while the siren goes by.
Okay. Because honestly, I think it really has a lot to do with the fact that, when it boils down to, are we considerate of other people and ourselves? Because when we're not, we're like, willing to hurt other people for whatever gains that we can get. Some of maybe what the billionaires out there like to do. Hate to call them out, and I hope that that's okay that I said that. But I think that, honestly, if we can, DJ Scoob had a guest on, and one of the things that he said that I thought was brilliant was, he said, don't charge less for the product, but add value to the product. And it's like, okay, so it's not, if the customer isn't getting enough value out of it, add more value to it, and so it's about not being selfish and giving to help encourage people. So
Quick follow-up. How do you measure that
how do you
for
measure that?
yourself?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer to that. And I think that's what I'm going to sit back and think on what you asked me about, is how
Well,
do I reflect on that for myself?
I think it'll be, ask me, if you could, ask me a question back. And you're just going to have
Okay.
to trust your instincts that you come up with the right thing. So I'm going to ask you the question, and then
Okay.
just hit me back with it, like with a follow-up.
Okay.
I lost what the question was. Do you remember?
No, I don't.
All my day just flashed before my eyes because it's getting close to time. I've had such a fun time talking with you, though.
Right? Absolutely.
It's super chill to talk all this stuff with anyone who's willing to talk with me about it. So if you find yourself fascinated by this, hop on anytime in the comments. I think it's fun to talk about these things, not because they're comfortable, but because they're I think, required, you know? Like, shouldn't we stop
Right.
and just reflect once in a while?
Absolutely. In fact, that's
So
what I'm
easy.
going to be doing today. Summer solstice. I'm going to
All
be
right.
doing some meditation after this.
All
So,
right.
yeah.
Any recommendations on a good resource if someone is like, oh, I'm a stiff business person on LinkedIn or a lazy kid on Twitch? Or that's not nice. But if I'm sitting at home, I'm like, I think meditation would probably be good for me because I'm stressing out right now. Do you have any like good entry moves to take us out on today?
So, would you like a guided meditation, a short one, like about a
If you're
2-minute
down,
one?
I'm down.
I am.
Sweet. I'm
Okay,
gonna
so
mute
what
myself and just. Do you want me to mute myself or do you want me to breathe in the mic? What's
you
more
can
good for
certainly
you?
breathe in the mic. I'm okay with uh
You want me to tickle your ear, y'all?
oh, that's weird. ASMR. Yeah.
Yo, I only recently learned what ASMR is. It's
Very
different.
weird and kind of stimulating. So,
I I can't say that I don't understand the principal interest in it.
you got to have a certain microphone though to be able to make the dual sounds. I think.
All right,
All
all right.
right.
I don't want to do it anymore. It's all you.
Okay. So, one of the first things that we want to do is be able to think about our breath. So there are different ways to do breathing. A lot of people don't think about, but we're just going to do a 4 count today. So think of it like a square, and it'll be easy to do that by that. I will count each side of the square that you need to do. Okay. So starting now, we're going to go. When I say start with 1, we're going to breathe in. Okay. So breathe in 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe in 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Breathe out 2, 3, 4. Hold 2, 3, 4. Okay. So this allows for us to be able to enter into a safe space within ourselves and with our eyes closed, unless you're driving. No accidents. Just begin to think about your favorite outdoor place to visit. And in this place, we can see the trees moving by the wind. We can hear water in the background, birds singing. You can smell the scent of earth and the flowers that are around. In this place is safety, rejuvenation, and renewal. The sun is high overhead, and the days have gotten long and feel great. Breathe in, and when you breathe out, let go of any tensions or anything that is bothering you or on your mind. Feel the renewal that you're getting from the universe itself. We can leave this place, but we can always come back whenever we want. And so we turn around and walk back out, slowly coming back. And as I count up from 5 to 1, when we get to 1, you can wake and open your eyes. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now you can feel freedom to move around. So that place is
Yeah.
always there for you. Yeah.
Why did you take it away? Not nice.
It feels great, doesn't it?
Dude, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Thanks for
Yeah.
doing that. I
Yeah,
used
no
to do that
problem.
for some people too. I tried to get into that, and it was whew, it's something different to do it in front of a group of people in person. It takes a lot of courage. So thanks for doing that. Like I just know from experience that it's like the first couple times of closing your eyes, because I would like close my eyes in front of these people that I knew were just there and making faces at me the first couple times. Eventually I think we got into it a little bit, but it's like that's the kind of risk that I appreciate you taking with me today,
Yeah,
because it is a risk to do that live. It's a risk to do anything live, but also everything we do in life is live. So to not do some of your shit live, I think you're probably completely denying who you are as a person. So give yourself a chance to screw up once in a while. Um,
absolutely.
because if the person on the other end of the line's got your best interest in mind, hopefully they're just gonna like continue supporting the crap out of you, because that's what friends do for each other. So make business friends, treat them like friends. And I think we as regular business people, as small business people, as startups that are new, as startups that have investment and don't have investment, and all the different circumstances that regular ass people trying to get by deal with, like, props to everybody out there doing it. And also, like, throw down with us anywhere you can. And by us I mean creators. If you find a creator group, does not have to be us, just go join it and contribute to it, because it's a really, really giving group of humans. So I would say go find a
Yeah.
creator group to join, and I'm sure we'll find you along the way. We are NumOspect. I am NumOspect and Common Leaders. Bree is not here today, but Bree is the other half of Common Leader. The other half of NumOspect. She got her own business called Clever BH Enterprises. True story. And then my co-host, my guest impromptu co-host for today, is the one and the only. And I would love it if you would introduce yourself the way you would love to be introduced. Then I'll hit the cut button at the end. So give me
Okay.
like your best elevator pitch 2 point. I have like a minute to sell. Like I got Ron Jeremy. I got only because I saw an interview with him recently. I got like Ron Jeremy. Got like whoever your top. I was like, why is this conversation so fascinating? But it was because he's got a history too. Everybody's got a history.
I love it.
And whoever that is for you, maybe it's Jimmy Donaldson, Mr. Beast. Maybe it's you want to meet
Tony Robbins.
Tony Robbins or Will Smith or Brene Brown, or I don't know. Who do people want to meet? Who do you want to meet?
Tony Robbins. I'd love to meet him.
Who else other than Tony Robbins?
Well, getting to meet you guys is pretty awesome in my opinion, but
I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate. Well, do you have any like other idols?
I would say that I really like Douglas Batchelor from What Magic Is This, and I got to do an interview with him, but I would like to meet him in person for real.
Okay, how
He's
come?
an incredible podcaster.
Okay, is there anybody you haven't met? I want you to throw the ball deep. I want you to think like the most chance encounter possible is
Warren
equally
Buffett.
likely with anybody on earth.
Warren Buffett would be pretty cool.
Oh, Warren Buffett. I like the way
Yeah.
you're shooting there with Robbins and Buffett going for old money. That's what
They're
Tony Robbins is
wise.
old. He's
They're
old money though.
wise.
Did you watch their special?
Uh-uh.
Oh my gosh, you gotta watch it. He did a special with Matthew McConaughey, and I gotta
Oh,
tell you, the
cool.
fact that he put his name near it is terrible, and it was a sellout, and he didn't even come in person. I watched a very little of it. It was very, very, we thought very poorly done. As a connoisseur of the field, if I had millions of dollars in resource, that was an under delivery. Like
Right.
it was real tacky. There wasn't a live crowd. They
What?
like piped in noise like a laugh track, but it was like a live
Oh.
coaching motivating. It was like a motivational TED talk, but with laugh tracks in the middle of it and with claps in the middle of it. It was very
That sounds
unfortunate
bad.
for people that had really good intentions. And then I was told that Tony maybe he didn't sign off on some of the decisions, but he didn't even show up. I guess he webcammed in with like really crappy service, like stuff like that.
Oh
I'm like, ooh,
no.
so I'm just saying, like, keep your eyes open. There's a lot of people who are movers and shakers in that field
Right.
who have learned from guys like Tony Robbins, but who are, I would say, like probably a little bit more in tune with how to operate in 2023 and 2024 and 2025. Because that dude from good source is not a good human behind closed doors. So I have a little bit of animosity towards him, just to be totally upfront with you about why I say it that way. And I don't say this to like, it's like all alleged. The hell if I know, but if all things are equal, what I know about that situation is like less than endearing. And I don't have a lot of context, but I do have it on pretty good source. So I think it's good to just remember that people do goof up, but they also make a lot of people along the way. Like Tony Robbins has inspired millions of people along the way, and he's probably inspired thousands upon thousands to study deeper what he did and have developed
Right.
it further and have evolved it further. Guys like Gary Vee is a Tony Robbins-esque kind of guy, you know, like there's all sorts of really, really, really cool people that studied way harder than Tony Robbins. He
Yeah.
just, his best asset, the thing he got people pumped up to do is walk on hot coals. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not a technique that's useful in day-to-day life. It's just not.
Right.
It's like, now that you've got me pumped up, what am I going to do with it? Like, how do I
Right.
go apply that in my life? So,
Yep.
you know, just encouragement to everyone out there. Make sure it's applicable in life, because if it's not, you might be wasting your effing time.
Right.
listening to this with me.
Right.
So, like,
Right.
make the most of your time. We only get a little bit of it. Thank you again for having some fun with me.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
This has been what happens when Bree leaves for the day. Is Trevor gets all professorial with
I love it.
guest hosts and amazing readers of human beings. Snow Leopard. Snow, where can people
Thanks.
go to find you? Where can they go to see you? Who do you need to gratitude warfare?
What was the last one?
Who do you
Gratitude
need to
warfare.
gratitude warfare? You know, at the end of shows, we like to do gratitude warfare, where
I missed
we
that.
sort of compete to say the most gratitude-y things. So I called it
Oh,
gratitude
okay.
warfare, just to sort of mess
Nice.
with one's mind.
I like that. So right now, Instagram and TikTok is where I'm at. And then the podcast, obviously, which is Seeking Tarot, and it's on every platform. But then if you want to go and see some of my newer stuff that I'm constantly putting out, is on TikTok and Instagram. And on TikTok, and this is what I was going to let you know at the beginning, is that I'm going to go live. And oh, good. I'm going to go live here very soon. I'm going to go live on TikTok, and I'm going to be doing free readings. So if you know somebody that wants a free reading, have them come over, and I will hook them up. So I got to pick out a time for that, but
Yeah. Where are we following?
The handle is Seeking Tarot Podcast, no spaces. You can recognize it from the cover art of the podcast. Where I don't think I have a picture. Yeah, I don't have a picture right now, but
I can pull one up. Yeah, Seeking Tarot Podcast. I'll
it.
pop it.
That'll work right there. That host.
This should get you to where you need to be. Seeking Tarot Podcast. Everything is spelled as it should be.
And that, yes, and then that's at Instagram as well. So
Okay.
hey, so both
Thanks.
TikTok and Instagram are the same way. And then
Okay.
when it comes to the podcast, is Seeking Space Tarot. So
okay, cool. Seeking Space Tarot.
not spelled space, just a space.
I totally did that too. No joke.
Yeah, there you go. Right there.
And I was thinking about Bree, and I totally lost track.
That's
all right. We have a final thing. I know I keep saying it because there's always one more final thing. We have to pick which view is better. That was the challenge question of the day. It was a light day in the comments, which is fine. VidCon is going on. I can't compete with VidCon. But which view is better?
I do like the plants. I like some of your overhead view of the plants, though. Those are some of my favorites. Those are really cool.
Okay. Thanks for saying that. I appreciate it.
Like, how do you get those up there?
Let's see if I can. Well,
Is it a
this
long
one, this
selfie
camera that
stick?
I'm about to change, this one, yeah, it's a selfie stick. And
Is there
then
one?
what I do with the selfie stick that this current view is on.
Oh, we lost you. I can't hear you. Where are you at? Audio and visual are completely gone. Hey, everybody. How are you? Bree, I hope that you start feeling better as soon as possible. I will be burning some incense for you for your healing. And I guess he's gone, although I have no way of shutting off this live. So where'd you go, Trevor? Come back. I can't do this by myself. To just, yeah, he's sucked up into another dimension there. Anyway, so
There we go.
there you are.
My computer died. I'm sorry. That's probably
That's okay.
what Grace would call a sign. What happened while I was gone? Anything?
Oh, I was just telling Bree that I hope that she starts feeling better and that I'm going to burn some incense for her. And what that means for me is that when I burn incense for somebody, it's like a prayer for rapid recovery, healing, or whatever I'm praying for. So, yep, it's an offering to the gods for good things. So,
All right, very cool. Well, thanks for doing that. All of the good things help.
good energy.
Absolutely. Thanks for stopping by, Bree. Appreciate you more than we could put in words. Hit the button, Trevor is absolutely right. Can't say thank you enough times, but I will one more. Thank you one more time to Bree and to Laura, my wife, who puts up with so much of my shit. 13 years. Ever since I said it more lately, I'm like, wow, that is just so long to deal with me. So shout out to her and to my parents. Been dealing with it for 35 years. So shout out to the people who have been making me me and getting me by, because it's a hell of a life I live and I'm very lucky. So I will see you all tomorrow on Thursday. It's Theoretical Thursday, so I will show up with another story to tell you. But if you have a story tomorrow, what we do on Thursdays is tell stories about the future as if they have happened. So we don't just walk into the future in television. We walk into the future and we're going to tell a story like it's going down. Unless we get interrupted by something better, we will see you for Theoretical Thursday tomorrow. I'm going to find the button. I'm going to hit the button and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks, Noam.
Thank you.
I love technology so much, you guys. I can't find the button. Hit the button, Trevor. Oh, man. Come on, Restream. This is a technical difficulty. These are real things. Real things that creators deal with. It's companies that don't have apps for their software. And they run inefficiently, and I now cannot end the stream because I can't see it on my web browser. Restream. There it is.